Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with us today. We're going to take a guided, macro to micro campus tour of a literal cornerstone of public education in Pakistan's capital. I'm talking about Islamabad Model College for Boys, I-8/3. Whether you're already plugged into the local educational landscape or you're just curious about how these massive public institutions actually operate, we're going to dig right into the blueprint of this college, using data straight from the source.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll take a look inside IMCB I-8/3, then map out their academic blueprint, explore campus life and facilities, peek behind the scenes at operations, and finally, wrap up with the college's enduring legacy.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Right off the bat, just look at this number, 2,000 to 3,000 students. That's the current enrollment. It is a massive scale. I mean, think about it. When you have thousands of young men converging on a single campus every single day, you're not really just running a school anymore, right? You're practically running a small town. And this number really anchors us to the sheer impact and the heavy responsibility this place carries for the Ayat sector and all those surrounding suburbs in Islamabad.
All right, Section 1. Inside IMCB I-8/3, the macro view. What's really wild here is just the sheer rapid pace of their expansion. According to the college's history, it was founded back in 1996 under this really visionary government policy. But it started out as just a simple English medium primary school. But, it didn't stay that way for long. Fast forward to 2003, and they've already expanded the campus for a dedicated sports center. By 2006, they're building out a specialized intermediate block packed with new labs and lecture rooms. And then the really massive leap happens in the 2010s. They upgrade to offer full 4-year BS degree programs. So in just a couple of decades, it completely transformed from a primary school into a full-blown degree-awarding institution. And driving all that evolution is a very specific foundational philosophy. Take a look at this quote from the current principal, Professor Shahid M. Abbasi. He says, "Our mission is to bridge any gaps in learning and build unwavering trust and confidence in our institution." You see, the sources we're looking at really highlight how the leadership focuses on nurturing the whole person. It's about igniting the mind, nurturing the heart, and fueling the spirit. It's the super holistic approach that goes way beyond just, textbooks and exams. They want to build well-rounded people who are actually ready for the real world. Let's move on to Section 2, the academic blueprint, pathways to success. Let's move to the actual structure and see how this builds, because the college provides this continuous, totally unbroken educational path. A kid can literally walk through those doors in prep, learning basic foundational literacy in the primary level, and effectively grow up on this exact same campus. They just keep moving up into the secondary level from class 6 to 10, then up into the higher secondary or intermediate level, and eventually right into the undergraduate level. It's just this incredibly comprehensive life cycle, all under one roof. Now, as the students get older, those paths start to diverge into highly specialized tracks. On the left, you've got the traditional intermediate tracks. Those are your standard 2-year high school programs like FSE, pre-medical, pre-engineering, computer science, commerce, and humanities. Pretty standard stuff. But on the right, that's the real game changer, the undergraduate BS programs. This is actually part of a massive initiative by the Federal Directorate of Education to bring 4-year, university-level degrees directly into these public colleges. And just look at the impressive breadth of these modern options. We're not just talking about 1 or 2 generic degrees here. IMCB I-8/3 is offering BS degrees in computer science, English, economics, physics, mathematics, and chemistry. The fact that a government college provides this level of specialized applied science and humanities education right in the local community, that is a massive benefit for sure. Okay, moving right along to Section 3, campus life and facilities, the student experience. So, to support 2,000 to 3,000 students every day, you obviously need some serious infrastructure. And the sources detail a really rich, almost self-sustaining campus ecosystem. They've got 24 technologically equipped classrooms, specialized labs for physics, chemistry, biology, and IT. And actually, those IT labs were recently modernized under a big digital literacy drive. Plus, there are central and seminar libraries, massive playgrounds for cricket and football, courts for basketball and volleyball, a medically equipped infirmary for first aid, and, this is a big one, a dedicated fleet of government-provided buses to commute students all across Islamabad and Rawalpindi. But, it's definitely not a free-for-all. Discipline is super tightly woven into campus life, and you see that most visibly through the strict dress code. Look at the contrast between the summer and winter uniforms here. Summer is a crisp white shirt with gray trousers. But winter? That is where that proud model college identity really takes front and center. They have this distinct maroon tie with diagonal stripes and a mandatory maroon sweater or blazer for the senior students. It creates this highly unified, disciplined visual identity that instantly sets them apart from other schools.
All right, let's pull back the curtain for Section 4, behind-the-scenes operations, the administrative engine. So, the crucial point here is how on earth is all of this managed and certified? Well, it essentially boils down to two major acronyms, FEHE and FBSIS. Because it's a public institution, the Federal Directorate of Education, or FDE, handles all the administrative control, the government funding, and the overarching governance. Meanwhile, the Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, FBSIS, is the body handling the strict academic accreditation and standardized exams. So you have this really strong dual-layer governmental oversight, which guarantees a high level of credibility. Down on the ground, the daily operational hierarchy is built to handle everything, from morning and evening shifts down to managing 10 to 12 different academic departments. It all starts at the top, with the principal. Just below them are the vice principals, who are actually divided into academics and administration for the senior section. From there, it flows down to the heads of departments, the teaching faculty, and of course, the incredibly vital administrative staff like registrars and exam controllers. Honestly, it's a wonderfully well-oiled machine.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the federal government staffs and compensates this huge team. Because these staff members are federal employees, they're paid under the structured National Basic Pay Scale System, or BPS. Look at how perfectly the hierarchy maps directly to these grades. The principal sits at a BPS 19 to 20. Associate professors are at 19, assistant professors at 18, lecturers at 17, and it goes all the way down to junior and senior teachers sitting between BPS 14 and 16. It's a completely formalized, transparent government structure.
Now, here's where this explainer gets genuinely fascinating. Keep in mind the massive infrastructure we just talked about, right? The modern labs, the university-level BS degrees, the highly qualified government faculty. Now, look at these fees. Because this is an FDE-subsidized public institution, the costs are almost unbelievably accessible. Admission is a one-time fee of just 1,000 to 2,500 Pakistani rupees. Monthly tuition, it's sitting roughly between 500 and 1,500 rupees depending on the grade level. They even offer need-based scholarships on top of that. This stark contrast between premium education and just nominal government fees, that is the true superpower of IMCB I8/3.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, the college's enduring legacy. Ever since it opened its doors in 1996, this institution has been quietly but incredibly powerfully fueling the capital's professional workforce. For nearly 30 years, it has churned out decades of graduates who've gone on to serve in absolutely vital sectors all across Pakistan. We're talking education, healthcare, and the vast frameworks of the government itself. It is a living testament to the fact that accessible, public sector education can and does produce top-tier national talent.
And I think that leaves us with a really compelling question. We've seen exactly how IMCB I/83 successfully evolved from a tiny primary school into a college offering full 4-year BS degrees. So as public colleges continue expanding into these university-level programs, what does the future hold for accessible, high-quality public education models? Could this exact blueprint be replicated further to bridge learning gaps on a larger scale? It is definitely something to ponder. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.